Hi, this is an update on my experiment growing microgreens in hydroponic trays. So in my last video, I talked about my desire to grow bushy cotyledons, which basically means bushy leaves on the broccoli sprouts. And I want to share my technique that I've developed. So over here are radish microgreens. Notice how long the stem is, and the cotyledons are quite bushy. The same thing with the broccoli. I didn't use the stacking method. It probably would get a little bit taller if I did, but I'm happy with the way it's turned out. Okay, so my technique is I take the tray, I add soil on the top, and I add soil on the bottom. And the purpose of that is just to give it extra nutrition. So once I add the soil, then I take seed that I have soaked overnight in water so that it's actually in the sprouting stage, and I put the seed down on the tray and then cover it with plastic wrap. So the plastic wrap creates a humidity tent, and it's really under the plastic wrap that I've noticed bushy growth. When I have just placed the tray with the seed without the plastic wrap under a humidity plastic tent without the saran wrap, I notice that the sprout starts to grow long and skinny, but with the saran wrap, the seed starts to get bushy under the humidity of the saran wrap. So I think that's a really key difference. And then another difference too is with the first watering, when the roots start to grow, sometimes I've grown them with the fertilizer and without, with the first watering. And I notice that makes a big difference when you start out with the fertilizer with the first root growth. That really makes a difference in terms of the speed of the growth, the length of the growth, and I do think the bushiness of the growth. So I believe it's the combination of the humidity along with the fertilizer that the bushy cotyledons get the maximum growth as it's starting to form. So that's my technique. I'm going to continue to hone it down and see if it continues to work. And just to share my other microgreens I started, I have grown some cilantro microgreens, and they are delicious. They live up to reputation. The only problem is that as the seed grows, the holes stick to the leaves, and so it requires to be manually pulled off. They don't really flick off the way sunflower microgreens, the seed just flicks off so easily. You just shake it and it falls off. But with the cilantro, you have to manually pick them off. Some of them fall off, but most of them you have to pick off. So that is the disadvantage. And I try to let one batch continue to grow to see if it would just grow and the leaves would just eventually shake it off. But all I did was I let it sit too long, and then now they're wilting. So I'm going to have to just manually take those holes off. So over here I have sunflower microgreens, and I tried using an organic living butter lettuce container because if you see these in the grocery stores, they last for a couple of weeks. So I figure if it can keep that fresh, maybe it would be good for sprouts. And it turns out yes. So I soaked the sunflower seeds overnight in water, sometimes even rinsing them and then using them at the 48-hour mark after you see the sprout forming. So then I took a 5x5 hemp mat. I put it down on the bottom. Those hemp mats, they fit perfectly in these plastic shells. So I put the hemp mat down, then I put some soil, and then I put these soaked sunflower seeds. And then I just snap it into place. And I was worried maybe mold would grow or whatever, but now I've gotten zero mold. And then once a day, I do mist it with the water from the glass water bottle. And then eventually, as it's growing the microgreens, I just put water down once a day, and the hemp mat soaks up the water and keeps it moist. And then eventually, after the microgreens grow tall enough, I just open the container. But until then, I tend to keep it closed to keep the moisture in, and then it requires such little maintenance. I just have to really water it just once a day. And that's really the advantage of the humidity. So I think really the lesson in this video that I'm trying to share is the importance of humidity. And when you have the humidity, it does the work for you. And it just pays to have that humidity in the first few days of the sprout's life. So yeah, if anyone has any tips or tricks, please share, and thank you so much for watching.